Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Dr. Mohammad Obeidat. I'm the Assistant Professor of Marketing and Consumer Behavior at the American University in Dubai. I teach an undergraduate program and also on the MBA program as well. My research interests basically focus on the consumer behavior, the purchase habit of the consumer, the online purchase as well. I'm more interested in the psychology and the brain of the consumer, and try to look why people purchasing certain product, why prefer certain product, and so on. Most of my research focus on Middle East, and I live in Dubai city, which is well known for fashion, well known for the shopping destination right now. I started to focus my research on luxury brand that already exists in the country, in Dubai, and why the consumer, they choose certain brand, what influence the consumer to choose this brand and to have preference for this brand over the other brand that already exists in the market. First, let me ask you this question. Do you guys believe that the brand has personality? Who believe that brand has personality? Okay. Well, actually, that's true. Brand is just like a human, as us. Brand has personality. And usually as a marketer or as a business people, we try to develop a personality for the brand. Why is that? Because as a consumer, we associate the brand with the personality. So you will see some brand, we have that brand that we respect, some brand we have that brand that we love, some brand that also we have intimacy with. And usually as a marketer, we need to develop a favorable image or personality for our brand, and do that at the beginning or the first stage of developing the product. I don't want to go too long about the personality of the brand and the purchasing decision. I just want to dive right into my current research that I'm working on right now, which is trying to understand the purchase decision for the fashion luxury brand in Dubai in specific. On this case, I have looked at two luxury fashion brands, which is Armani and Cavalli, which is we all familiar with. I selected these two brands because these are most popular brand, teenager and the college student, which is my target audience between 18 to 25. My research question is I'm trying to look at what factor that influence the consumer when they make their purchasing decision to buy that brand. I have my literature review. I focus on 4 variables. These are my main focus, which is the quality, number 1, which is we define it as the perception of the consumer. Now we're talking about perception. Here is subjective, is not objective, which is mean that it doesn't matter what the reality is. In my study, I was looking at what the people perception of the quality of these two brands, whether it's true or not. Okay. The second is the price, which is we think it's price signal quality, signal luxury as well. There's kind of association between high price and high luxury, and that's reflect on the image of the brand. If the company want to show their brand as a luxury, they have to associate that with high price. Usually if the consumer, they are not familiar with the brand and they wanted to make a decision about the brand, they will look at the price. If the price is high, usually the customer will perceive that as good or high quality as well. So that's the other reason I choose the price. Then we have the brand loyalty, which is of course, once the customer, they are loyal to the brand, that means they're going to purchase the product again and again and again without even thinking about the other variable that we talked about here. But as a company or as a marketer, you need to understand one issue, that there is what we call brand loyalty and we have brand inertia. The brand inertia, basically, this is when the customer, they buy the product again and again, just because that product is available for them, or just because the product is convenience for them. And many business, they mistake that by thinking that the brand inertia is the same brand loyalty, which is here totally different story. Because the brand inertia, if the customer buy the product again and again, they could buy it, but once they have lower price, they will switch to the other product. But once the customer, they are loyal to your product, that means they will not switch to any product, even with lower price, with discount, with coupon. They will keep purchasing your product again and again. The fourth factor I look at, which is design. The reason I choose design, because design appeal, especially when we talk about fashion, it's appeal to the teenager, appeal to the college student. And I use the mixed approach method for this study. First, I review with few students around in the campus, in our campus. I conduct this interview with the help with my student as well in my consumer behavior class. Conduct some interview outside of our campus as well. Part of the study, we conduct a survey on SurveyMonkey, and we send it to about 300 students on our campus and other university as well in Dubai. We were trying to assess the quality, the price, the design, brand loyalty, and also we look at demographic factors such as the income, we look at the educational level, we look at also family income as well. So all these factors I included in my study. Initial finding was showing that the consumer had a perception about each brand, and this perception they build it based on their own experience. For example, most of the girls, they see Armani as masculine brand, while Cavalli is perceived as both gender brands. So that was an issue where Armani, in this case, they need to work on or communicate that their brand is not only for a male, it targeted both gender. That's number one. Number two, we found out that the customer service is really important and they play a big role. Remember here, we talk about the people who serve, people who welcome the people, try to help you in the store. And we find out that store that provide good service, usually they can create loyalty. They can get the customer to come back and purchase the brand as well. Price and the quality. It seemed like, especially in Dubai, that these two brands, they are kind of overpriced. And we associate loyalty with simply good service, with probably satisfaction as well, that most of these customers that they purchase from this brand, they were satisfied, they were happy with the service. Some limitation of the study that it took enough time to conduct the study. I still have to go through the conclusion, through the recommendation, because I'm trying to get really the best implication, not only for these two brands, because we know that Armani and Cavalli, they don't really need someone to conduct research for them. They have enough money to do that. But I would think that will help small business that who try to initiate a brand or fashion to kind of take these conclusion and try to understand how the customer they make their purchase decision, or how they create their perception about the brand when it comes to the fashion and luxury as well. If you guys have any question, I welcome any question, any recommendation that could probably I could add on. Again, the research right now, it's in, I would say, on the final stage. I still have to go through the result, the implication. So if you guys you give any recommendation, any tips to help me to improve this research, I would welcome these tips.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Wait, any comment or any questions?
Go ahead.
Please. Yeah.
Okay. In the absence of any question, it's
Yes.
more of an observation.
Ah.
Yes. In your preceding statement, you try to compare brand and personality.
Yes.
Yes. Consider looking at those two different factors, like a professional personality, a real personality, in line with brand.
That's excellent question actually.
Okay.
And when it comes to create personality for a product and for a brand, company usually they follow two approach. Whether they go with a professional, whether they will go with a typical user. What I mean by that, usually the company, they will show you in the advertisement, for example, they try to sell, let's say, a luxury watch, okay? And they want to associate that with like they have personality of, let's say, the G-Shock here with Casio, they have personality that's toughness, it's sporty, okay? So they would try to find some celebrity who has that personality. Could you guys tell any celebrity? Okay, Singapore, like Van Diesel, okay? So they will try to look at this celebrity and endorse them to represent that brand. So the customer automatically will associate the personality with that watch. So every time you see that watch, you remember that person. That's number one. Number two, they could associate it with the typical user. They will show you, okay, Dr. Obeidat here, he's wearing it. And they will show in commercial that, okay, this is our typical user. Now, why the company do that? Because if they leave it to the customer, they will create their own personality for the brand. That's why you always want to create, whether it's service or product, you need to create a personality and communicate it through the advertisement.
I was wondering what kind of process behind the personalized of the brand is. How could they develop this kind of personalized? Is this just because like the chunking processes, or how they develop this kind of personality? Did they, for example, search the internet or from the media? So.
All right, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Actually, when we look at personality, like
Yeah.
first let's say that we came out with, we want to create a personality for a car, okay? We are Toyota and we came to the market with a new car and we want to create a personality. And we all know that every car has personality right now. If you think about Toyota Corolla, it's an economy person.
Yeah.
Camry is more like comfortable. Luxury, you have Lexus, right? So it's the same. If Toyota decide to come out with a new car, let's say for sport, young generation, the first thing they will come out, they will have to define the personality. They have to look at these dimensions. Usually, as a marketer, we look at these dimensions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have to choose personality out of these and tell your consumer what's the personality for my car. So I'm looking for something that, let's say, excitement. Okay, that's the personality. So basically, once I decide manufacturing the car, I have to connect the car. First, have to communicate that to the design people, to the engineer people, to tell them, okay, we want a car that's more fun, excitement. That's what we try to create. Okay. After that, they come up with a car that, let's say, that has this feature where it has a very comfortable, sporty ride, sporty look. It has feature that can connect your iPhone, connect your iTunes as well. Then we move to what we call it communicate it to the customer. Now the customer, they already can see that through the design, but also we try to look people who can communicate the excitement. Who do you think could communicate the excitement for such a car? But any of these celebrity that just come out, like young generation who's has a personality fun of excitement, could be represented for that brand. And also for our, after we develop that personality and communicate it, you need to make sure that to communicate it. In marketing, we have also, we look at the colors. So for example, if you look at the blue color, blue, it's authority, respect, command. You have, for example, if you're developing a product that's luxury, you're selling the watch, luxury watch, okay? Probably you have to look at the color, silver, platinum. So the package will be silver, platinum, that communicate luxury as well to the consumer. You have also white, it's communicate also purity, cleanness, and so on. So this is how basically we do